Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to do a special video because last Saturday, October 29th, I played in a Scarab hosted event, which is an organization, and we did the Pathfinder Beginners Box Set. And I'm going to give you a recap without any spoilers because just in case any of y'all decide to go and play and run that game. So, now, I obviously have not actually bought it. I didn't read the DMG. I can only give you my perspective as a player for it. Now, I've played Pathfinder. In one of my games that's been running for a year now, we play with the Pathfinder rule set in the world of Eberron, actually. And so I came in with prior knowledge of, I played 3.5 gaming since I was like 8. So for like 11 years now. Yeah. And so this wasn't new to me. I just wanted to game. I didn't know it was beginner's set anyway. I was told, hey, come game. So I was like, alright. But I digress. So within the beginner's box set, there are 4 pre-made characters. A human cleric, human wizard, human fighter, and an elf rogue. And, they're all pre-generated. There is a couple of errors in the character sheets. Like, for the fighter, there was, what was it? The attack bonus was done wrong for, I believe it was two-handed fighting, I think it was. I think the bonus was wrong. But aside from that, I mean, they were pretty well done. There was story information on the backs of all the characters, which were pretty interesting. There's 4 adventures contained in it as well. There was also a mini player's handbook, I believe, and a mini DMG, which was also the mini monster manual. But there was also little cardboard tiles for all the monsters, and they had little plastic stands that you'd stick them in. So that was pretty cool. So it also came with a token format type thing, closer to minis though. And I believe that it also came with the maps for all the locations for the 4 or 5 things. I don't know though. We didn't use it. We just had a grid that we drew it out on. But so the 4 adventures, they struck me. They were more of like snapshots of trailers for adventures, really, because they were each like 1 encounter, and they had like no role playing, it was essentially, I'm going to read your story, here's a combat encounter, and then you just fought it. It was alright. They weren't, except one. There was one, I think it was called Terrors. That was my favorite, and it was the only one that actually had, you actually had to do something aside from let your DM just kind of read through it for you. You actually had to go and investigate something and then do something and then fight something. It was pretty cool. But it was a good box set for beginners, but it had a couple problems. Some things that pissed me off, really. Firstly, the spells that were selected for you weren't very good. Like, at least for the cleric, which I was playing, I had the option of Bless, Protection from Evil, and my horizon was Detect Magic. And yeah, I could substitute, but Protection from Evil I never ever cast. I used it as a substitute spell. So, and then Detect Magic was also given to the wizard in the party, so that kind of pissed me off. It's like, now we have this massive overlap. That was bothersome. But, sorry, it's my dog, you can hear that. But a problem I really had with it was they left out rules. They purposefully did this to not overwhelm a player. But from a standpoint of someone who's played before, now playing with this, those were kind of critical rules. Some less so than others. But one of the less so was the armor check penalty. I mean, okay, we'll take that out. That's fair. You don't need to really, really drop that on someone. But the big one that they took out was attacks opportunity entirely. So mean, I'm playing a caster, and you're saying I can cast in someone's face. If I'm new to this game and I'm told I can cast in someone's face, that's how I'm going to learn to play. I'm going to try and, when I actually get into a real game, start trying to cast in someone's face. So that was annoying. That really bothered me. I refused to play like that, honestly. I was like, no. My DM was like, there's no attacks of opportunity. I'm like, well, I play like there is. Because it's stupid not to. You shouldn't learn the game like that. I didn't tell him that part. I did say I'm gonna treat it like I have attacks of opportunity. But it was overall a really, really good session. I enjoyed the box, I enjoyed our DM, I enjoyed our group. But there was also a hard encounter. Like, we blasted through a lot of it until the very last one, which I think was called... We had Terror, Ruins, something. I don't know. There was one that... I'm not going to spoil it because I don't want to tell you what's in it. But it was hard as hell. We almost all died. And we hadn't died at all. Like, we went through all 4 without dying once. And... very last one we nearly all died, so that was interesting. But aside from the problems with rules being purposely left out, some of them probably more critical than others, it was a fun adventure, 4 adventures. If you also get over the fact that it's really like 4 snapshots of adventures. I think a DM who really wanted to take it and make something out of it could go through to each adventure and build a bigger adventure around it, especially the one Terrors or the one that nearly killed us all, because both those had a lot more potential than what they were given. So ultimately, I think the Pathfinder Beginners Box is good for someone who is experienced before to run it. That way they can put those rules back in, because honestly, leaving them out is bullshit. You shouldn't teach people to play wrong. I mean, yeah, it may overwhelm them, but if you teach them that there's no such thing as a tax opportunity, they're going to mentally think there's no such thing as a tax opportunity when they actually get in it, and then may die to something from an attack opportunity. So that's just my thoughts on the Pathfinder Beginners Box Set. Like I said, it's really fun to play, fun characters. It's a good way to get people in because it doesn't require you to know anything. And the character sheets are really well laid out and explained, but there are a couple problems with it that an experienced player would know to avoid. So I recommend, if you can get it or you want to teach 3 or 4 people how to play it, go for it, buy it, but keep those things in mind before you start playing it and everything. So until next time, have a good one.